Greetings from Chicagoland. You're listening to Munira's Musings, where your host Munira will showcase new guests each week to share exciting details about the journey to their niches. As we like to say, the riches are in the niches, and on this show, we'll share ideas on how to break through our invisible boundaries so we can start taking steps towards our dreams and create the life that we most desire. If you're passionate about impacting lives, then this podcast will give you some great ideas and equip you with the tools to quickly grow your business. Okay, let's get started with today's show. Here's your host, Munira.
Greetings from Chicagoland. This is Munira from Munira's Musings. Welcome to another episode where we showcase a guest, an entrepreneur, and a person who was wishing and has made their business a reality. Our guest today is Laura Barker, a good friend of mine, an attorney turned into the LinkedIn expert, and she's going to talk to us about why you need what she has to grow your business. Without further ado, we want to start that, but I just want to tell you this. Before we go ahead, this show is for all preneurs, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, businesspreneurs, and we bring you these guests and showcase them not only to help them get the word out, but also help you so that you can learn a little bit about their journey to their niche and how they have taken what they have and implement it in their business so they can grow and make a difference. So without further ado, hi Laura, how are you?
Hey Munira, I am fantastic. It's so good to be here with you this morning.
Thank you. Yes. So tell us a little bit about you, Laura.
Sure. As Munira mentioned, I'm an attorney by trade, but I stopped practicing law quite a few years ago because really I'm an entrepreneur when it comes down to it. Even when I was practicing law, I had my own law firm. So I just couldn't get the business side out of me. I've had multiple businesses throughout my career, and an interesting thing happened along my journey. And that is that what I do now really was born out of those experiences, because now what I do is help business owners, solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, salespeople, whoever, to use LinkedIn to get new business. And the way that kind of came together was that I ended up turning to LinkedIn for my own businesses at the time and created some programs, systems for myself and my sales team to be able to grow.
Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I invested a lot of time and a lot of money in learning all of the ins and outs of LinkedIn, and have just continued in that journey of education and being on top of things with regard to LinkedIn. And then discovered that this was a need that people had, because so many are intimidated by LinkedIn or think that it can't work for them.
So there are billions of people on LinkedIn, and it's like social media. So give us a little breakdown of what you see LinkedIn as, or is it just like a social media?
It is not just like a social media platform.
Okay.
In fact, this is a little interesting tidbit that probably most people don't know about LinkedIn versus all of the other social media platforms. So when you're talking about whether it's Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, they all make money in the same way. They all make money from advertising, right? LinkedIn does not make the bulk of its money from advertising. LinkedIn makes its money through its members' subscriptions to its services.
Oh.
So even though it has a phenomenal free version, which is so powerful, they make 80% of their revenue from things like Sales Navigator, the recruitment subscription, things like that. What that means for us as users of LinkedIn is that their focus is on us. Their focus is on making the platform more effective for us, as opposed to catering to the needs and desires of an advertiser. That is huge when you think about it.
Right. Okay. So you said it's not a social platform. So what is it? Anybody looking at LinkedIn is going to say, oh my God, this is too much, or it's just a business. It's not a way to find a job or.
Right. Yeah. It did start out as an employment type job seeking, searching, recruiting platform. That's how it started. It has so grown from that. That's just a small portion really of what the platform is all about. It is technically, I suppose, a social media platform. It's just that it really has some significant differences from the others. Number one is it is focused on business. So nobody's going to be surprised when you get into a conversation with them and you want to talk business. As opposed to maybe on some of the other, social platforms, they don't want to talk business, right? It's social. The other thing that is really unique about LinkedIn, well, there's so many actually, but one of them is that it really is a great resource for business owners. The education that you can get through LinkedIn is really unlimited. They have, for example, courses that will teach you how to use Excel. They have content that other users put up that is mostly just educational and really helpful. A current example is ChatGPT. That's the talk of the town, right? And it is complicated. It's not as straightforward sometimes, I think, as people might assume. What you can find on LinkedIn is phenomenal information about how to create prompts for your business, how to create prompts for a blog, how to create a prompt for this or for that, and it's just educational. Nobody's pitching you anything. This is really about supporting one another. And I love that about this platform. It is not about selling, although it is a great platform to grow your business, which means sales, right?
Right. Right. So they are not selling you anything, but you as an entrepreneur, business owner, solopreneur can go find ideal clients for your business that you can pitch your services to.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Although, so I want to be clear on something though. LinkedIn is really about establishing authentic relationships with people. Because when you think about it, we buy from people, right? We buy from people that we know, like, and trust and believe are expert in their field, right? So what we don't do directly on LinkedIn is pitch. You never want to pitch in a post, a direct message, or anything in that kind of communication. Because where do we make sales? We make our sales on sales calls, like the one-to-one or one-to-many, but we make them on sales calls, not in a chat, right?
Okay. No, I get it. So
Yeah.
that's another mistake, because even when I am on LinkedIn, lots of people send a message, hey, do you want to grow your business? I can do this for you. And it's like, who told you that I want to grow my business?
Exactly.
It's very put off, right?
Very.
So you started out, let's talk about how you got to here, because you have a very interesting story. You started out as a lawyer, looking as a lawyer looking for clients and learning LinkedIn, and then all of a sudden you realize that, you know what, there's 1,000 people out there who don't know how to use LinkedIn. I know a lot, let me just teach you. Did somebody come and ask you in the process of how to use this, and how are you getting your clients? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to be clear, so by the time I got into LinkedIn, I had stopped practicing law. I had other businesses that I was growing using LinkedIn. And what happened is this. I do a lot of online networking like everybody else, and people in those networking communities would maybe put something in the chat about LinkedIn, like a question, or they would bring up a question in a discussion. Well, I tended to know the answer. So I would just volunteer it and, type it in, oh, try this or do that or, whatever. And then I started getting questions like, do you have a class on this? Do you train on this? And I thought, well, I guess I should.
Right.
And it just mushroomed from there. It just exploded. I put together my first class and had a great response. And I was having so much fun sharing this information and watching businesses grow from what I could share, that it has just become my focus. I just absolutely love it. And I love watching businesses grow.
This is amazing, right? So you have to be, so lots of people have come on this show, they've said something, but yours is different because you knew answers and you started helping other people grow. And in doing that, they realized that you had a little bit more knowledge than you do. And it's always like that when you are looking at kids. I have too many grandkids, but when I look at kids, I have a 2-year-old now who follows her 4-year-old cousin and learns the mischief or anything else from them.
Sure.
And then the 4-year-old learns from the 6-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they don't have to go look to a university student. They just go look at their peers and they learn it.
Yep.
I mean, one thing was, there's a way that the kids put their jacket on the floor and then they wear it. This is a pretty neat trick that the 6-year-old had learned. She taught her brother, and now they taught their 2-year-old cousin. And my granddaughter was out with my brothers in UK, and she did it, and they were all just so surprised that, oh, look, a 2-year-old can do this. But the fact of the matter is that they learn from their peers. So anytime as an entrepreneur, and I'm just sharing this, that if you have knowledge about anything, go ahead and share it, because you never know what that opportunity is going to open up.
Oh, absolutely. And, speaking of sharing, it's so funny. Sometimes I hear business owners or salespeople, that they're worried about sharing too much. Like, oh, I don't want to give away my system, or I don't want to give this or that away. I have the exact opposite philosophy. I don't believe I can give away too much. So a mentor once told me, if you feel like you're giving too much away, give some more.
Oh.
And I have adopted that philosophy in all areas really of my life. I cannot tell you how that has had such a positive impact on my business. I have great systems that I train people on. If somebody wanted to take all of my posts on LinkedIn, my newsletters, all the stuff I put out there, and try to do it themselves, hey, more power to them. I got no problem with that. But the reality is that most people are not that disciplined, motivated, don't have the clarity, so that what it ends up doing when you give that information away is it establishes you as the expert that you are. And when they're ready to take that next step to go to the next level, they're going to call you.
Okay.
And that's exactly what I see.
No, yeah. So expertise matters, right?
Yes. Yes.
And share some more.
That's right.
Share it. Okay, I'm writing notes. Because this is interesting. So now you've established yourself. You mentioned that you were growing other business as well. Have you continued with these other business, or are they in the background?
No, I still have them. I have 2 other businesses that I'm currently involved in. So I have Barker Business Solutions, which really is my LinkedIn programs and training and the like. Then I have a voluntary benefits business where I market voluntary benefits for employees in the form of legal and identity theft protection packages. And I have been doing that now for almost 10 years. So I've had that one for quite a while. And then, and I continue to work that business. And, but it's kind of funny because I've been doing it for so long. It's a routine, right? Like I've got it down. Then the other business is totally off the wall. It's a hair accessory company. So my business partner and I created and invented and patented a brand new kind of headband. And we started that in 2013, I think. And we now sell all over the world. And I can actually, I'm wearing one now.
Oh, yeah. So
It's a great product.
so you are a pretty busy woman who is an entrepreneur who has the foresight to one not only to help but also have multiple streams of incomes that help help if in case
Absolutely.
you have a rocky one of them is a rocky
Absolutely.
one. Okay, so this is awesome. Now I know I'd love to talk to you. You know, I love you very much. The fact of the matter is timing. So tell me what are some things that you're going to tell entrepreneurs watching this? If they cannot afford you or they can't find you, what is the first thing they need to do on LinkedIn?
Absolutely.
And as a entrepreneur, solopreneur, what is it that they need to do that they should be doing in their business that you think they're not doing?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that. So the first thing is I would recommend that they follow me on LinkedIn. So they can look me up on LinkedIn, Laura Barker, JD. And then if they follow me, they'll see all of the free advice that I give out, right? And then they can start to implement some of those tips, right? But from a practical standpoint, what can they do today? Number one, it's important to understand that everything on LinkedIn revolves around your profile. If your profile is not optimized, you are not going to get the kind of results that you could be getting. And here's what I mean by optimized. All of the sections that are available to you on LinkedIn need to be filled out completely. They need to be robust. Don't just, your experience section, for example, is not just a list of the jobs you've had. Use that section to talk about your services. Use that section to show how the progression in your career, those earlier jobs, what did you learn from them that are informing what you do today? This will help build your credibility, will help you be seen as an authority figure in that space. The other thing, of course, is your banner picture needs to be professional and sharp, and tell people, what is it that you do? What problem do you solve? And I recommend that people go ahead and develop your brand colors, like get a branding theme together, right? And then use that throughout. And then the headshot, I have to mention the headshot, folks, please. If I see another wedding picture, right? We want this. I mean, I love them. They're great. You're beautiful. But this is a professional platform. This is business. So you need a professional headshot. And you want that headshot because remember, they're small. So most people are seeing this on their phones, right? On mobile. So you want your headshot needs to be about 80% of your face and the rest of it a non-distracting background. And smile for your picture, right? So that is that. And then another little tip is you can actually add a video to your headshot so that when people click on your headshot, they get an introduction to you. How cool is that, right?
Cool is that? Okay, wonderful. Wow, Laura, you blow my mind every time I speak to you. So this is amazing. Now, ladies and gentlemen, right? one thing that I have learned from LinkedIn and one thing that I have learned from Laura is that, apart from the tips, is that it is a platform where people conduct business.
Yeah.
Other platforms are just, no, I'm not going to discount other platforms. People do business on them,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
this is actually a business platform. So if you're really serious and you are a professional, then show up on that platform, because what you do in Hawaii or at the beach is your thing on Facebook, but people on LinkedIn don't have to know that. They want to see your successes and failures too, because I've seen so many failure stories on that where people talk about that and then the lessons they've learned. And it's amazing how people react to stories. So show up and tell them those stories, because that's one thing that's going to take your business to a different level. Can it be happening right away? Make those changes now. Follow Laura, figure it out. And then if you need help, she's the expert. She helps me all the time. So take those tips. This is a very interesting segment because these are things that you can do yourself. And then follow people and just say, you know what, I want to grow my business. How do I do this? And you can. Last words, how do people find you?
Thank you for that. So you can go to my website, which is pretty easy, barkerbusinesssolutions.com. So you can do that. You can find me on LinkedIn. Just put in the search bar, Laura Barker, and you will see me. You should recognize my headshot, and it will say Laura Barker JD, and that's because I'm an attorney. So the JD is for Juris Doctor, which just means attorney. And so those are the two easiest ways to find me. Reach out to me. Let's connect on LinkedIn. I love to learn about new businesses. I love to connect with new people. So I hope that I'll be hearing from some of you.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Take this first step. Optimize your profile. Ladies and gentlemen, this was an amazing segment. Watch out. Next week, we have a new entrepreneur who is going to share different tips and tricks with you. If you like it, go ahead, share, like, and subscribe to our channel. Until then, we will see you next week. Bye, Laura. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Munira's Musings. We hope that you found today's conversation inspiring and useful so that you can continue making progress towards mastering your own niche. Please tune in next week for another episode, and in the meantime, you can follow us on social media at Munira's Musings on Facebook and leave us a review wherever you're listening to podcasts. Thanks again, and we'll see you next time.